Welcome back, everybody. Week 5 is in the books, and we got a lot to talk about. First things first, I'm Michael Vitt,
I'm Mike Vitt.
and we got some good football this week. We actually got 5 good games, I think, that we tracked, and then everything else we didn't really care about. Is that what we said?
I mean, we're starting to get to the point of the season where we have some games that we don't really need to pay attention to. We'd rather
Yeah.
put some attention towards the games that mean more, where there's actually good football being played, and we have teams that we're starting to identify that will be contenders down the stretch. So I know that
Yeah.
I definitely spent some time going back and looking closer at some of those games. So I'm sure that as the season goes, we'll sort of weed out some of the teams. Um, that are just not playing very well that we don't need to pay that close of attention to. Unfortunately, it looks like the Raiders will be one of those teams, but by default, and the fact that we're here and that I'm a Raiders fan and
Yeah.
you're a Lions fan, we are contractually obligated to speak about
We are
both those teams no matter what happens.
contractually obligated to, yes.
So bear with us for those of you who are listening, because there still will be a segment on the Raiders
You gotta you
every
gotta have you
pod
gotta have
throughout the
one
season.
team that you talk about, You gotta have that one team. Well, hey, good news is not the worst team in the NFL. We have our definitive worst team. After this week, after all the dust settled, we have one 0-5 team. Every other team's won a game.
Yeah.
Yep, the New
Yep.
York Jets. Worst team. They are the worst team. I was not expecting that one. I don't want to talk about them too long, but I really was not expecting the Jets to be the worst team in the league through week 5, through week 4, you know?
Yeah, by
Uh,
record, yes, by record alone, they are the worst team.
yeah. Well, I think like statistically they're also just like really bad too. On paper, it's just
Yeah,
really bad. I mean, outside of week 1, have they looked like a good football team? I don't think so.
no,
So,
and they actually looked pretty decent that first week against the Steelers. It was a pretty interesting opening game,
mhm.
and it certainly, I'm sure, left some hope and promise
Yeah.
for those fans.
I mean, they played the Bucks really well too. I won't argue that. They played the Bucks really well too. There
Okay.
were 2 competitive games. The other games they looked like crap. But yeah, the Jets are the worst team in the league. They're now our worst team. So, we welcome them with open arms. Uh and we love and respect them. And we think they're going to do great someday. Just not this year.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Bad teams out the window. We got some crazy games to talk about. Man, I don't know which one to talk about first. It's all you, man. You pick.
All me.
You get to
Well,
pick
I
which
mean, we
game you
could.
want to talk about. Like there's
Well, let's do this. Let's get our teams out of the way. I know that
okay.
you don't have a ton to say about the Lions for
Yeah, I
good
could
reasons, and I don't have.
uh,
Well, I have a lot to say about the Raiders, so why don't we do the Lions first, and then we'll continue on.
Yeah, okay. So the Lions further pull ahead as the points scored leader in the league. We smashed the Bengals. The Bengals were never within a score of us throughout the entire game. Um, I don't know. We kind of did our jobs, went in, walked out winners. Only thing that's been of note that people are talking about are we let the game be too close. Bullshit. Fans are annoying. Yeah, the Lions let the Bengals put up some points at the end of the game there, but like it was garbage time points, first of all, which garbage time is the entire fourth quarter for the Lions at this point, it seems like. And a lot of injuries started racking up at the end of the game there, especially in the corner position. The big thing of note is Terrion Arnold is going to be out for the rest of the season, seemingly, which I don't think is great because I think he's done a pretty good job for the most part when you look at the numbers. He does
Mm.
draw flags, but he took a sack away this week on a holding flag. But when you look at actually his coverage stats, like he holds people. I think it was like he was targeted 9 times on Sunday, only allowed like 2 passes, total of like 10 yards ish receiving. So
Mhm.
The guy plays good. He just draws flags. If he can stop drawing them, he'd be fine. But, Lions fans have been fucking ripping into the guy for the past 5 weeks. They did it all last season too. He's a second-year corner who plays pretty well. If there's one positive to him being injured, it's there aren't going to be hundreds of thousands of fans ripping into him every week for playing good football. So hopefully he rests up well and he's good. Otherwise, Lions did their job. They really did.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Lions are the leading scoring team in the NFL with 174
Yep.
total
Followed by the
points
Colts
this year.
I think.
Yeah, followed by the Colts at 162, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
So relatively close. But my takeaway from the Lions game this week is they are a good team. Bengals are not a good team.
Yep.
I will say that it's sort of a funny situation where the game was sort of this awkward, close but not close, and then not close but close feeling, which is sort of a weird thing, right? When you look at the scoreboard,
Yeah.
and you think, wow, that's not a close game. But there was sort of this turn of the tide in the second half. And Jake Browning, their quarterback, did throw 3 touchdowns, I believe. And there was this point at which sort of just the feeling of the game sort of switched. And even though the score wasn't that close, they were never closer than 2 scores.
No.
It felt like they were really close. And then it seemed like the Lions were blowing them out, but they were never really that far away either. So it was just kind of a weird thing. It is what it is. We're all NFL teams. So
yeah, you're taking the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. Just because the Bengals suck doesn't mean they're not a professional football team. And to credit the Bengals, since we're not going to talk about them anymore either this week, their defense played really well. They played into the Lions' weaknesses, which was the left side of their offensive line this week with Taylor Decker out. They got to the quarterback for the first time. The Lions took a sack for the first time since week 1, right? So they played a good game.
And the Lions lost their first fumble this year.
We did lose our first fumble this year.
So there's a couple weird things, but
again,
it was just sort of the momentum switch.
Yeah.
Even when you look at the scoreboard, it didn't feel like the momentum felt that the game felt the way the scoreboard said it was. But at the end of the day, it was a fairly easy win. Except for the lost Terry and Arnold, nothing lost there. Just sort of, put your cleats on, go to work, do the job, and get home.
Mm-hmm. And it with a safety, top it all off, right? What can you ask? What more can you ask for? Let's talk about the Raiders, though.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. So I recapped last week, which was a disappointing loss to the Bears in a close game, a home game, where I thought it was a big opportunity to be 2-2 last week. Instead, we end up 1-3, which is ginormous difference.
Big difference.
When you look at the standings. Yeah, it's a huge difference. And that last week, I was really sort of emotional about it because of just the way the game went, and I was a lot tied up in it. I went into this week knowing that the Raiders were going to lose. The Colts are a really good football team. As far as the actual winning the game. But I was really hoping to see sort of what I banked on. Going back to the start of the season, 2 things. One was the coaching staff coming in. I was really hopeful and high on Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly coming in and changing the culture with Pete Carroll and doing some things on the offense with getting Genty. And I was really excited about that. I felt really good everywhere I went. That's what I talked about. Culture change, finally have a direction, finally have something that's going to change. And the other thing was the Geno Smith acquisition. I was not happy about that initially. I had a lot of concerns about that. Even though his resurgence in the previous couple years in Seattle showed that he was doing a lot better. He was in some people's book a top half of the league quarterback, which isn't great, but I'll take it at this point based on what we've had the last few years. And then I sort of had a change of heart with the Pete Carroll, looking at what he did with Pete Carroll in Seattle, which is where he came from, and I sort of changed my mood. Going into week 1, good, beat the Patriots at the Patriots, and I felt really good about things. I thought, okay, this is sort of the way it looks, and then everything from there has just been a dumpster fire. So that takes us to week 5, which is where now I'm just beyond emotion and beyond being a fan, now I'm looking at things from a different perspective, which is Pete Carroll and the culture has not changed at all. There is a lot of things that are being reported in the locker room that are not happy. They released a veteran linebacker after only 4 weeks with really not much explanation. The reports I'm seeing, I don't read a lot into them. I like to look more at what I see on the field, but unfortunately they match. But what's being reported is there's a lot of locker room issues.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the Pete Carroll conference about when they asked about why the linebacker was released, he sort of just brushed it off that they were going in a different direction without really any reasons, which is a concern. When we're
Yep.
5 weeks into the season, we're talking about going different directions with players who have only been in the building for a couple weeks. That's a
Yeah.
concern. Apparently, that's not the only thing that's happening in the locker room. He's not the only player that's having issues. And then you look at what's happening on the field, and quite frankly, to quote Cam Ward last week about his team, they look like ass. It's not good. They do not
Yeah.
look good in all phases. Gino's a dumpster fire. He leads the league with 9 interceptions to only 6 touchdowns. For those at home, that is not a good ratio. And he looks terrible. I mean, he's throwing a lot of those interceptions are just bad spots. They're not veteran quarterback stuff. Um, Special teams blocked field goal in week 4 cost us potentially a win against the Bears. We had a blocked punt
Yep.
last week that cost us a touchdown. The
Mm-hmm.
interceptions that are on our side of the field that are putting the defense in terrible positions. I know that I text you on Sunday that I thought the defense wasn't terrible. I like their energy. They're still giving up big plays, but Pete Carroll's a defensive coach and a culture builder, and the
No
culture's
culture being
terrible right
built.
now, and the defense looks terrible, and Chip Kelly and the offense looks absolutely terrible. So what my eyes are telling me is cause for great concern, absolute great concern, because it looks like a repeat of basically every regime that's come in, certainly in the last 3 regimes since, gosh, what, 5 years ago, when
That was
things really took a turn for the worse.
yeah.
And then, so it's just been horrible. And basically at week 5 of the season, I'm a depleted, unhappy Raiders fan who's calling for a lot of changes that I just don't see happening. And
Yeah.
I just didn't really think we'd be at this point 5 weeks in. So I'm not even going to talk about the game on Sunday, week 5, except
Oh,
that it was just a dumpster fire in all phases.
I
And
wanted
so
to
I don't
talk
know what
about
the
it a
answer
little
is.
bit.
Okay, well, why don't you go?
Statistically,
Why don't
I'm
you
just
go
gonna
talk
say,
about?
when you look at the game stats, look at the stats.
Uh huh.
And if you didn't look at the score and you just looked at straight up just the stats, just look at straight yardage. Raiders had more offensive yards, more time of possession, uh, and, uh, more plays throughout this game, and they only put up 6 points. One of the field goals they kicked was a garbage time field goal too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what shot they had more rushing yards, they had 30 less passing yards. What shocks me, sorry, the Colts did have more yards in the game by 15. But what shocks me is, you know, the Raiders themselves put up a game that was even to the Colts almost when it comes to just pure yardage and back and forth. One difference is the Raiders don't have a way to score. They can't find a way to
Well, okay,
score.
but yeah, but I mean, if you got to look at the reason why though, they're giving up a blocked field goal or a blocked punt. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
which gives Indianapolis the ball inside like the red zone.
Yep.
The interceptions in the last 2 weeks, the interceptions that Geno Smith is throwing are on the Raiders side of the ball, which gives
Yeah. Gino threw
which gives the
two
other team a very
interceptions.
which gives a very short field.
Yeah.
You look at Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns
Yes. There were
against
four
the
rushing
Raiders.
touchdowns against the Raiders,
But he o
which,
but he only had, like, 60 yards because
uh huh.
the Raiders are giving up the ball in basically scoring position, so
Genty
that's
rushed
what I'm
for
saying.
more
It's
yards
a
than
dumpster
him.
fire. These aren't interceptions, and these aren't plays that are happening that are just such awesome plays by the other team or
No, it's the other.
that
It's the other way
are
around.
yeah,
Yes.
they're just easy.
It's the
It's just that
Raiders. The Raiders are kicking themselves
yeah,
over and
and
over
that's
again.
not That's the exact thing that I thought that would be fixed by having Pete Carroll come
I did
in
too.
and change what was gonna happen. That's where the concern comes from. That's where, as a fan, that's where, as somebody I'm evaluating, and as a fan, quite frankly, that I'm just, it sucks. It's just, it's terrible. It's concerning. It's it's just disappointing. It's just so disappointing to see where it's come so fast.
Yeah.
And then I watch the press conferences from Pete Carroll, the head coach, and I get nothing. I get nothing that makes
Mhm.
me feel good about it. He
Mhm.
says things like, "Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be like this either." I mean, it's the quotes that come
Hey,
out of his mouth are crazy
I
to
mean,
me.
I mean, hey, to move on to a new topic, because I think we're just repeating the same thing. Let's talk about another guy's really awesome press conferences. Uh, head coach of the Miami Dolphins, soon to be not head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, walked up in his presser this week and took a question and then jumbled it for about 30 seconds. And I think it was along the lines of, how are you feeling about this? Or how do you think this player is feeling about this? And he just went, yeah, he and I, we didn't like that. And then that was the question. That was it. I said that with more emotion than he did. He looks like he's a kid who is being forced to do a presentation every day in high school. Like, I think the writing's on the wall for him, and he knows he's gonna be fired, and he has just given up completely at this point.
Yeah, he's always been awkward. He's always been awkward. Now that the Dolphins are a dumpster fire also, it's
Yeah,
probably,
but there was a
just
little bit
kinda
of
looking
pep
at
in
it a
his
little bit
step
different.
before. Like, he
Yeah,
just
that's true.
looks non-existent. He doesn't look like he's even in the building anymore.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is crazy. The Dolphins, I think, are gonna fire him, and then whatever interim head coach they're gonna have will probably lead them to play better football than he has been doing it. But I don't think they're gonna do much for the rest of this year. Uh, that's most of the depressing talk we have. I think we got some really fun, exciting things to talk about now.
yeah, let's move on.
Uh, we've got Niners Rams game to start, I guess. Let's just start at the beginning of the week.
Okay.
Mac
Niners-Rams
Jones,
game.
Mac Jones, I'm calling it. This is the Mac Jones flu game right here. This is it. This was his flu game, man. His Michael Jordan flu game. He ate like 8, 10 bananas, threw up. I think there was something wrong with Mac Jones before the game, outside of seeing a dead body outside of his team's hotel before the game started. Did you not see that report?
I have no idea what you're talking
Mac
about.
Jones saw a dead body outside of the team's hotel before they had their game on Thursday.
I didn't see that at all
No,
anywhere.
yeah, you didn't. Yeah, that's how that started. I think it was Mac Jones saw it. Somebody did on that team. And then Mac Jones proceeded to play a really good football game and was eating snacks and bananas the entire game. I think Mac Jones was sick. I'm not gonna lie. Something.
Okay.
I think Mac Jones was sick or not feeling well in one way or another, because he was eating the entire game. When he was on the field, he looked not healthy, in my opinion, but he was just playing ball, man. Playing ball well.
Yeah, they were decimated. The 49ers were decimated. I gave them zero chance to win that game against a Rams team that's very good. I gave them zero chance. They had all their wide receivers were hurt. Brock Purdy, their starting quarterback's out. Mac Jones has done very well this year in the backup role, but still,
Yeah.
he was out. Their starting all-pro tight end is still out, has been all season,
Yeah.
and they're just decimated on both sides of the ball. And coming in against the Rams team in LA, I thought no shot. I thought no shot at all. If you just look at the trajectory of the way both those teams were going, and then they pulled one out, and sort of quite convincingly, to be honest. The score doesn't say quite convincingly, but they just look like the team that was the fighters. They were out there to
Yeah.
fight, and I don't know if it was Shanahan, their head coach's pregame speech, or
Hmm.
what he did to get those guys going, but they played better ball, and
They did.
Coach Shanahan out-coached McVay, and
100%.
McVay the head coach for the Rams admitted as much, because the Rams did have a chance to win that game go at the end,
Yeah.
and they did not. And so, but I was completely blown away to start off the week. That game was far closer, and the outcome was way different than I expected.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
good job for them.
to think tail of the tape is Rams fumbled twice, which gave the Niners the ball twice. Niners also held the ball for 40 minutes of that game. 40 minutes of that game, the Niners had the ball, which is crazy. I think they just slowly, just methodically took the
Outcoached.
Rams defense down.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that Coach Shanahan did a better job, and if that was a game plan, because without the weapons, then he did a better job.
yeah, and it worked. I mean,
Absolutely,
what is it? 350 yards passing for Mac Jones. Like
just about. Yeah.
that was great. So good job to the Niners. Good job to Mac Jones in his flu game. I'm convinced, dude. I'm convinced he was sick. I'm convinced there was something wrong with him because he was going crazy that game.
Okay, fair enough.
You bring one up. Let me see what you want to talk about.
Well, I like I said, like we talked about. I think that at this point, a lot of the peripheral games, the games that aren't gonna really matter for later on in the season, we're not gonna talk a ton about.
Yeah.
So I sort of spent some time. Really, I mean, we watch all the games every week, anyways. But sort of, it's hard to realistically say we watch every game. Every play of every game.
Yeah.
We might
Try to.
it might actually be on the screen, but paying attention. So this week, I sort of dove into just a few games and really some highlights of some of those games and plays that if people want to watch some interesting football or some exciting stuff to go back and watch. But let's start with the Denver and Eagles game
Okay.
on Sunday. That was a Denver team that was coming in at 2-2, and an Eagles team coming in 4-0. And
Yeah.
my feelings on that was 4-0 Eagles, probably not as good as 4-0. 2-2 Denver team. God, I mean, maybe not. Maybe a 3-1 is a better. Uh, is
Mm.
a sorry,
Yeah,
would be
you
a better
good?
standings for Denver. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. But I'm just not sure that their records tell who exactly they were, and so
Yeah.
it ended up being a really good game. I think it came down to sort of exposing some of Philadelphia's issues with offensive. I know there's a lot of talk about their offensive play caller. I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that. They were fairly successful on a lot of what they did with passing the ball. However, if you look at the success of the Philadelphia Eagles over the last couple seasons, that's not really where a lot of their success comes from. Most of it came from Barkley, who is
Yeah.
now down, averaging less than half of his production last year.
Yeah, he's
And
not
in this
doing great.
particular game, I think this particular game, he only ran the ball 6 times. So that's a big question mark there. Also, late in the game, Hertz only had 2 running plays, and he's averaging almost 11 running plays per game. So, sort of an interesting situation there with what's going on play call wise. Having said that, I thought they did a fairly good job of throwing the ball, mixing the ball around, but they just weren't. They weren't who they have been over the last couple of years, and so there's a big question about sort of the direction of what Philadelphia is doing. And then on the other side, Denver's defense is phenomenal, and
They're really good.
that's what they were banking on the entire, coming into the season, and I think it really showed up this week. The game was close all the way into the fourth quarter. Philadelphia was outscored 18-0 in the fourth quarter, though.
Yep.
They did not score any points after let's see, somewhere in the third quarter. First drive of the second half was the last time Philadelphia scored any points.
Yep.
And at that point, Denver was down 17-3.
Yep.
Denver ends up winning the game 18 to
21 to
17. Is that what the
17.
final score? Start 21 to 17.
Yep.
And so my thoughts on that, if you want to go back, and if nobody saw it, you go back and watch like the last maybe half of the fourth quarter, where Denver, even the last couple drives, where there were some interesting calls by the officials on a pass where there was nobody around to catch it, which they threw the flag on for
Yeah.
intentional grounding, and then they picked it up, and
They
then they
picked it
didn't even
back
say
up.
anything. And they didn't even say anything. The refs didn't even say anything. They just picked it up, and the game moved on. It was sort of a funny, it's
Yeah, I
sort of an
don't
interesting thing.
I don't
And then
know.
there was a late hit against Philadelphia, which I don't
Listen,
know.
listen, man. I don't even want to address the flags because Eagles fans are yapping left, right, and center. They're whining about how
Yeah,
the refs suck. Let me just, I'm fucking saying it. The the Broncos were flagged 3 more times than the Eagles, and the flag yardage that the Eagles got was twice as much as what the Broncos got. Why do I keep saying the Browns? The Broncos had 12 flags that gave up 120 yards. The Eagles had 9 flags that gave up 55 yards. So you can't sit here and whine left, right, and center about how the refs favored the Broncos because you fucking lost the game, not to penalties. Like, you didn't. Like,
no,
you got more
no, I don't think
penalties in your
anyone.
favor.
I don't think anyone play does, I'm not a fan of either team. Certainly not the Broncos, but I'm not a fan of the Eagles
Yeah.
either.
I don't
But
want I don't want to hear it.
just the last couple of drives, there were some really interesting calls that went against both teams. To be quite
Exactly.
frank, or
Like
that were better for both. I will say this though, and nothing ever comes down to one play, but I do have to say that the last play of the game for Philadelphia, or the second to last play, was a deep pass down that should have been a pass interference against Denver. It
yeah.
was pretty egregious,
Yeah.
which would have given Philadelphia the ball inside the 5 with one play left.
They would have had a
Like it or
chance.
like it, no matter what side you're on, if you're a Denver fan, you got to that was a penalty, and they got away with one, and that's okay. Those things happen.
Everyone
It
does.
was just sort of it was just my point was simply that it was part of an exciting end to a game that I thought was good. And I think that in watching that game, I looked at the Broncos a little differently. I think they have some things to shore up on the offensive side with Bo Nix. But Sean Payton's a great
Yeah.
offensive coach, and I don't think that'll be an issue. So I
Well,
thought it was a great game. So
he didn't have a bad game. I will say 240 yards and a touchdown isn't terrible, but I think if there's anything that I got from it is the last play of that game is indicative of how I think the Eagles season is going, where AJ Brown and Devonta Smith both went up, and AJ Brown pushed the ball out of Devonta Smith's hands. I don't know if you
yeah,
saw that, but I
yeah.
don't even think a Broncos player touched it. I think it was 2 Eagles players were both grabbing it, and AJ Brown punched it out of Devonta Smith's hands. So maybe AJ Brown's tweet from a week ago is starting to come true, and he is slowly moving away. But I would like to talk about maybe a game that doesn't have two super teams on it, or two really good teams. But I would like to talk about the Titans Cardinals game real quick.
Okay.
Because I don't think you've paid much attention to the Cardinals at all up through this week, right? You mentioned last week.
I watched them pretty close last week, but I certainly watched them this week. Yeah.
Yeah. The Cardinals are not good, and they proved it by losing that game. A 77-yard touchdown turns into a touchback for the second week in a row. A second team now has dropped the
Yeah.
ball before they got into the end zone. This one worse than the last one, because this one he just dropped the ball. It wasn't like the guy started bumbling it in his hands. He just dropped it. That guy
Mhm.
had a chance. His name is DeMercado, right?
Yep.
Had a
Yep.
chance to get a start in the NFL because both starting running backs above him were hurt.
Mhm.
And, up until he dropped that ball, was making a really great case for himself to be a great starting running back. Instead, he shoots himself in the foot and starts the avalanche that caused the Cardinals to lose that game. Does that, Titans get the ball back, then drive down the field, and in the craziest fashion, they end up scoring a touchdown on an interception turned fumble turned touchdown, right? Intercepted the
Yeah.
ball was kicked into the end zone. Tyler Lockett jumps on it, scores a touchdown. I mean, man, how can you mess up so much? You go up 21 to 6 going into the half, and then let the Titans score 16 points on you in the fourth quarter to come back. Crazy. I mean, just crazy. Shocking across the board.
Yeah. Yeah. So the timeline on that, just as you said, is you have a running back who's getting an opportunity to play, who has not run for hardly any yards in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was his third carry of the game. With 12 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, the Cardinals
Yes.
are up 20. The Cardinals are up 21-6. He takes a 70-yard run, which would have put the Cardinals up potentially 28-6 with about 12 minutes left in the game.
Yep.
Rather than that, he drops the ball before it goes over, turns into a touchback. Titans take that, go down and score. With 10 minutes
Yes.
left in the game, it's now 21-12.
Yes.
And then the debacle from there ensues. Like you said, the next possession, Tennessee goes down
All the way to the
and
red zone, and then the
throws
interception.
an interception inside the 5-yard line. The guy who intercepts the ball then fumbles it back into the end zone.
Uh-huh.
And Tyler Lockett for Tennessee picks it up for a touchdown. And the rest is sort of history. The Titans end up kicking a field goal for the win
Yeah.
with no time left
Which,
on.
mind you, their kicker missed 2 extra points earlier in that game.
Yeah.
The Titans kicker missed 2 extra points.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like-
So I mean, you basically the Cardinals with 12 minutes and 21 seconds left in the game basically had to roll over and say, "Here you go, Tennessee. You can have the game." And that's exactly what happened through some
Shocking.
interesting plays. But
Shocking.
yeah, the last half of that
shocking.
quarter was interesting. Yeah. So
I could not believe it. But after that game, I think I learned that the Cardinals are exactly who we thought they were, which is a team
Yeah.
with a lot of talent who can't make anything happen. Marvin
yeah,
Harrison
that's
Jr.
what I talked about last week. Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr. had 100 yards receiving. Great for him. He's finally looking up. He's trending up, right? Which is good for him. Unfortunately, a guy fumbled the ball and their defense threw the game. Just a mess all around.
Yeah.
They still look like chickens with their heads cut off, no matter what they're doing. It's sad. But
Not
hey,
good.
Titans get that dub finally. Hard
Yep,
fought.
they do.
Hard
They're off the
fought.
schneid. Yep.
And now next week they might have 2 dubs. We'll see. It's gonna be close. I don't think they will, but it'll be close for them next week.
Yeah.
Next game.
I
There's a
got
couple we
2
can
more
talk
I want
about.
to talk about.
There's a couple we can
I got
talk
2
about.
more.
I mean, there's. I'm looking at it. If I'm looking at just purely what happened after the fact, we could talk Bucks. We could talk Commanders, Chargers. We could talk Pats, Bills. We could talk 4 more games if we wanted. What games do you want to talk about?
The 2 more I want to talk about is I want to talk about the Chiefs and the Jags on Monday night.
Uh-huh.
And then the best game of the week, in my opinion, based on everything that happened in the game as well as who the teams are and I think where they're going, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Let's start with the Bucks and the Seahawks. I do want to talk Pats Bills here. I do think it's important to talk Pats Bills. But let's talk Bucks Seahawks first.
Okay. Bucks Seahawks, best game of the week.
By far.
2 phenomenal teams.
Yeah.
Let's just start with the uniforms. They wore their throwbacks this week, and they were a chef's kiss of fantastic. So those are throwbacks from back like in the 80s.
Both teams,
and 90s. And so that was nostalgia for me. I loved it. It was a phenomenal game. I think that both those quarterbacks for those teams were 2018 drafts, right?
Sam Darnold and
Yes,
Baker, yes. All from
Yeah,
the
both-
2018 draft class is crazy if you look at it.
Yeah, both of them were basically cast aside as busts. Both were high draft picks.
Yep.
Both have taken quite a journey to get to where they're at now and are proving that they actually should have been taken where they were. That the teams that took them were dumpster fires, and it kind of doesn't matter how good you are when you're taken by the teams that they were taken by, in this case, the Jets and the Browns, that's a tough way to start your career.
Yeah.
And that the resurgence by both of them has been epic.
Wonderful.
And it's awesome
Love
to
watching
see.
it.
I've been a Darnold fan since I've watched him at USC.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to see him find success. On to the game. Uniforms were awesome to start with, and it was a back and forth. Haymakers. The stats at the end of the game, both quarterbacks threw for 330 plus yards.
Yeah.
Darnold, I believe, had 4 touchdowns.
4 tutties.
And 1 interception at the end of the game.
One pretty
which-
crucial interception.
It was a crucial interception.
Uh-huh.
and Baker had 2 touchdowns, I believe, with no interceptions. But
Two
if you just
touchdowns.
you really had to watch the game to understand what was happening. But it was a back and forth,
It's a slugfest.
absolute awesome game. It was
Yeah.
so awesome to see, and just. I mean, that's what I have to say about it. I mean, it was just phenomenal. I'm just so impressed and
Yeah.
so happy for those quarterbacks. And both those teams were teams that we've talked about week in and week out as being very good teams. And the fact that Tampa Bay eked it out, I don't think it says that one team is all better than the other. I think they just
I
got
think
to win that game.
both teams are
And
equal in my eyes.
it was just my favorite game of the week to watch.
It was the most
And I
fun game
think
to watch by far. It was two offenses
and
doing
so
what you always want to watch in a football game, which is just shredding the field, going up and down, left, right, and
and
center.
I want to make
Okay.
one point about the Bucks, and it was something that I noticed, bigger picture with outside of this game, and that is this: good teams do 2 things, in my opinion. They capitalize on mistakes and they score touchdowns. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot stand it when teams get left in great positions, maybe a turnover inside the red zone or something, and they end up with a field goal. I'd hate that. But secondly, the thing I think that grinds my gears the most is when teams waste timeouts because they don't know what they're doing. They're fundamentally not sound, and you
Yeah.
see a team taking a timeout with 5 minutes gone in the first quarter, or they only have one timeout left and they just started the second quarter.
Yeah.
And I reference that because that's what my team, the Raiders, does a lot. And it's a sign that a team doesn't have their shit together, to be quite honest, that
Uh-huh.
they're not buttoned up. And it was something I noticed, and I went back and looked at Tampa Bay Buccaneers through 5 weeks of this season have had all of their timeouts, all 3 of their timeouts, with 2 minutes left to go in the first half and 2 minutes left to go at the end of the game in every single game
Yeah.
except for one. They've used one timeout outside of the 2 minute warnings on either the half or end of game the entire
Uh-huh.
season, which means they have their timeouts to utilize the clock to come back. They've come back wins, what, 3 times this year? They've had
Yeah.
timeouts to have the clock be in their favor on no matter what side of the ball they're on to make the game go in their favor. And only one time have they used a timeout outside of that, and that was on a sort of an isolated weird incident that happened at the beginning of the second half, I believe in week 4
Uh-huh.
against Atlanta, which it wasn't even their fault. It was sort of an officiating thing. Other than that, they are buttoned up. They are a buttoned up team, and I think that that's what it showed me. I went back and looked. I couldn't believe it. No other team has that, and I think it just shows that Baker Mayfield and that team
They're a
has their
well-oiled
shit together.
machine.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just impressive, and the record shows it, and the way they played in this game shows it. So
All right. Let's move on to the Bills and the Pats.
okay,
Uh Drake May, man. He might be the future. Uh
yeah,
he
I think he's definitely the future.
he walked in to that game. They walked into that game being serious underdogs. I don't think anyone was expecting them to win. I don't think the Patriots. I think the Patriots are down to like their third or fourth string running back at this point. Halfway through that, like they're a shredded team. But I mean, outside of talking about Drake May's performance, we should talk about Stephon Diggs' performance in another revenge game, if you will. 146 yards on 10 receptions. That guy played ball. If you watch that game, it was pretty close the entire way through. New England went up by 3 to start the game, and then throughout the rest of the game, each team scored the same amount of points through every quarter. Second quarter, both teams scored a field goal. Third quarter, both teams scored a touchdown. Fourth quarter, both teams scored a touchdown and a field goal. It was an even game. The Bills were not as dominant as we expected them to be. They should have been. When you look at the stats, they were even across the board, both teams. It was kind of telling. I think the Patriots and Mike Vrabel are on the trend up. And, the Bills are not any worse than they were a week before, because this is a division rivalry, right? It's a division matchup. So these teams should know each other better. But, I mean, come on. Like, you're the Bills. You guys are expected to be the best team in the league. And I said it last week, right? When I was talking about the difference between the Eagles and the the Bills, and it's the
You
Eagles
did.
haven't convincingly won a game yet, and the Bills have, and they should have continued to keep convincingly win. I do not think when you look at the teams, when you both look at the teams from an outside perspective, that you would expect the Patriots to play this game close. And they did. They played it really close. They played it very competitively, and they won the game. So, shocking to me, by all means. The Patriots should not have won that game, in my opinion, but
Yeah, I think that the Bills had 3 turnovers, which is a little bit uncharacteristic,
yeah.
and I think that was very costly. I think that sort of chalks that up for the most part to me. The Bills did not have a great game. Your point last week that Philadelphia has won all of their games in non-convincing fashion against better competition. The Bills have won all their games against lesser quality teams. I think that
Yeah.
definitely that the Patriots are trending into be a quality team, that they are getting their act together. And Drake May is turning into the quarterback that he was drafted very high last year by the Patriots.
Yeah.
New coach Mike Vrabel in there. He's starting to get his thing together. So I think that and then you have a division rivalry game. So you have a divisional rivalry game. The Bills uncharacteristically give up 3 turnovers, and I think that the Patriots are sort of hitting their stride and starting to be the team that
They are.
that yeah.
It's
So
dangerous.
but I mean, so yeah, dangerous. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, and now the Patriots at 3-2, and the Bills at 4-1 in a division where I think people at the beginning of the season, certainly I think we did, thought that it was just going to be a runaway by the Bills, and I'm not sure
Patriots
that
are going to
that's
give them a run
necessarily
for
the
their
case.
money, dude. They are.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's the case. So
Patriots,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, their defense is playing better than the Bills' defense, and their
uh
offense is
huh,
hitting a stride now. We'll see what
yeah.
happens, though. Again, they're down to their fourth string running back, I think.
Mm.
So, from a coaching standpoint, they should be, in theory, a pretty one-dimensional team. If you can stop the run, right? You should be able to stop the run at this point. So we'll see what happens. But great
Yeah.
game. All right, let's move
Yep.
on to Monday night.
Okay. Okay.
Monday night's a big one. We got a lot to talk about here. We were actually arguing
Okay.
before about Monday night. Uh,
Okay.
Jaguars take the dub in their throwbacks, in their 2000s throwbacks. Not as old as the other ones, but they do take the dub in very nice looking uniforms that I really like. Against the Chiefs. What is there to talk about here, man? Chiefs go up 14-7 in the half. Chiefs look like the better team throughout the first half, at least from what I watched. And then the Jaguars score like 17 unanswered points throughout in the second half. I think it was 17 unanswered points. They scored, and then the game looks really dicey now for the Chiefs. It ended up being 21. It was 14-24. And this game got a little close. Am I correct on that?
On the unanswered, I was looking that up right now. I did watch the game pretty closely. I thought that they kept it closer than that.
It might have been 14 unanswered points, but I know that the Jaguars scored in the third quarter, the Jaguars scored 2 touchdowns and the Chiefs scored nothing.
The Chiefs had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Third quarter.
Oh, third
Third
quarter. I'm
quarter.
sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they went in. They started the third quarter
And it
down 14-7. The Jaguars were down 14-7.
yeah, it was 14 unanswered points, by the way. I apologize. Not 17.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. There you go.
It was 14 unanswered points. But the Jaguars go up 21-14, and then it was a back and forth, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, and then the crazy end of the game, the Trevor Lawrence tripping and then tripping again, and then somehow turning that into a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't pay much to how the Chiefs played this game in general. Like, my eyes were definitely on how the Jaguars were playing. Very specifically on one player, Trevor Lawrence, and how he was playing. And their defense, right? Patrick Mahomes throws a 99-yard pick six, right? In the third quarter, which that is what brings the Jaguars up. They go up 21-14 at that point, right?
Mhm.
And then, Trevor Lawrence, you were saying, was not the reason they won that game. And your statement, don't cut me off, I'm speaking for you, but I think you did say it is the story of the Jaguars are winning games despite Trevor Lawrence doing his best to make them lose games or something along the lines of that.
Well, I said that the Jaguars are winning this season not because of Trevor Lawrence, in
Yeah.
some cases despite him. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to say Trevor Lawrence had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown in this game, had a 95% passer rating or 95 passer rating in this game. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the reason they would have lost this game either.
No.
He made a phenomenal effort to win this game for his team. And if you actually look at his stats throughout this season, yes, I agree. Early on in the season, he definitely wasn't winning games for his team. He did not look good early on in this season. But when you look at his stats over the last couple games, 221 yards, a touchdown, interception, 2 rushing touchdowns, 72% completion percentage against the Chiefs, 95 passer rating. Against the Niners, 67% completion rate, 175 yards, touchdown, 93 passer rating. So against the Bengals, it was an 80 passer rating, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, two interceptions. Like, yes, he's throwing interceptions. He's got a 6-to-5 touchdown interception ratio. But like, I'd argue that he's not throwing these games like he was in the past seasons. I would definitely say, yeah, dude, this guy sucks. He does. But I mean, when you look at his stats, dude, 2022 threw for 4,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. 2023, 4,000 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. This is where the fall off started, right? Last year, he got hurt, only played 10 games, had 2,000 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I think the hate on him has been rough, especially because of the situations he's been surrounded by. And if we want to talk about quarterbacks who were written off too early because of bad coaching, we can't say that we can't write Trevor Lawrence off as a bad quarterback when he's also had pretty abysmal coaching throughout his career.
Yeah, he definitely had a tough start.
I think he's had
arguably
some of the worst coaching that you could have with Urban Meyer as a coach at one point. Like,
yeah,
he's had it rough, man.
Yeah, so and that's what this whole topic is sort of interesting to me, because I actually was agreeing with you on the point you made to me last week, which is that the Jaguars at 3-1, I thought was because of great Trevor Lawrence play. Last week, you disputed that, saying that it was actually because of the Jaguars' defense.
It is
why they were winning.
It still is. But I think this is where the flip is as well.
Yeah. So my point was that as I watched this game, and you can quote the stats. You're right. They look okay. As the leading rusher last night, and had a decent game. A 95 passer rating is certainly good. It's not great, but it's good. And but as I watched the game, there was just a lot of stuff that was a little bit questionable. That was in the first half
when he ran over the line. Yeah, got a flag.
And I think that the team that won the game should have won the game. I don't think it was a fluke. I think Jacksonville at 4-1, based on what I saw from their defense, is good. I mean, I think they're really good, actually.
Yeah.
And so I was actually arguing still your point that you made, that actually you highlighted last week, that I was agreeing with. And it's not, and for me in particular, it's not Trevor Lawrence hate. It's more, I think that there are teams that you look at the quarterback is a ginormous reason as to why they are winning. And then there are other teams where there are other facets of the game that are actually the higher contributors to that production and to what's happening. And, like, for example, the interception last night by the linebacker Lloyd, he is the leading, he has the most interception in the NFL right now.
4.
And to have that 99 yard return for a touchdown, that's phenomenal. That's not going to happen every game, but he has the most interceptions. And I just think their defense is probably what's carrying them. I think in past years, even with those stats that you said, he's actually cost them games. And he certainly didn't cost them the game last night. Trevor Lawrence
No.
was definitely a contributor to that. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating him. I'm certainly not. Just I think that they're winning not because of him still, and hopefully we can see that change. Certainly with his production in college and how he came out. But 4-1. If I was looking at 4-1 right now, based on what I know about the NFL, and I didn't watch any of the games, I had no other context. I would say that Trevor Lawrence is having a like top 2 or 3 quarterback a year, based on sort of where the Jaguars have been, and I don't think that
Yeah.
that's necessarily the accurate either. So
Yeah, I mean,
4-1 for them is phenomenal. I think
four and
that
one
with a
is
rookie head
with a
coach,
rookie head
and
coach. He's probably
yeah,
gonna
I
win
think it's
Coach of the
phenomenal.
Year, and I'm gonna be mad about it because Dan Campbell is gonna get snubbed for Coach of the Year for like the 5th year in a row,
It's,
which is gonna piss me off because
yeah,
this guy's deserved Coach. I think Dan Campbell's deserved Coach of the Year so many years. Let's
yeah,
hope that Cohen doesn't suffer the same fate as every other guy who's won Coach of the Year over Dan Campbell, which is the next season falling off. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, Cohen's doing a good job. I love every week the Jaguars win. You see that really funny clip of Cohen's
Duval.
yeah, the Duval and like the most like just fucking commit to it, man, if you're gonna do it. So yeah, they're good. I'm excited to watch them play. What I don't like is that the Chiefs lost because now on a short week going into a home game against the Lions, I think that team's gonna play very strong.
You
Uh
think that's gonna have an effect on what happens next
Fuck
week?
yeah, it is. Good teams do that shit. And the Chiefs are a good team. I don't want to write them off because they're a really good team. They won the Super Bowl last year. Sorry, they lost the Super Bowl last year, but they've won 3 Super Bowls in the last 6 years, right? Something like
Yeah.
that. So
Mm.
they're a really good football team. Is this the year that the Chiefs start to fall off? I hope so. I really do. It'd be great because then the Lions, I don't have to worry about them as much, but Patrick Mahomes had a great game still. 320 yards, touchdown. Um, they were averaging 7.7 yards per play, like 160 rushing yards, 475 total yards of offense. I mean, man, like
Yeah.
man, that's a good football team. I'm hoping that going into next week that they don't play as good as they did on Monday night, but next week's gonna be a good one. I think that's it for our stories, though. Let's
Yeah.
move on to our favorite thing, which is our predictions for next week. Now,
Okay.
we did talk pretty in depth on a couple teams, so I'm just gonna say a game. I'll say a piece on it. You can say a piece on it if you want, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Let's get through it. Yeah, for sure.
Eagles at Giants on Thursday night. I got the Eagles winning this. Giants showed flashes of looking good for the first half of the game this week against the Saints, and then they fell off in the second half. Jackson Dart looked a little iffy as a rookie. Same with Scadaboo. He fumbled the ball, gave it up. So I think those rookies, even though I believe in them heavily, and I think they're the future of the Giants, they're still rookies and they're still figuring it out. And the Eagles are the defending champs. I have the Eagles winning this.
Yeah, I think that we'll kind of see how it goes, right? If the Eagles bounce back after a
Yeah.
tough loss against Denver, and if they can quiet a lot of the talk about what's happening inside their team,
Yeah.
and then if the Giants week 1 Jackson Dart start was a fluke, or if they're going to continue to build on that. And I don't even mean by a win or a loss. I just mean by how they look on the field, because they didn't look that great this last week against the Saints.
No, they looked a little rough. All
Yeah.
right, next game, Broncos at Jets. We talked about both these teams already. I think it's pretty given.
Yeah.
Broncos are going to win this game. Jets are a poverty franchise still.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look a little closer as we get closer into the week. But yeah, right off the top, Denver's a really good team, and the Jets appeared not to be. So it's
Yep.
fairly simple.
Rams at Ravens. Man,
Oh, gosh.
Rams are downtrodden after losing a game they shouldn't have lost, and the Ravens are giving up. So easy pick for me. I think it's just Rams all the way.
Yeah, I can't see after a tough loss the Rams last week. I can't see them not bouncing back and just absolutely
Yeah,
just smacking the Ravens. The Ravens defense is absolutely terrible.
it's so
And
bad.
that hasn't that's 25 5 years, you can't say that. I mean,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
no matter what, that's what they're built
Let's
on.
talk about it. 25 years ago, the 2000 Ravens defense only allowed 165 points throughout the entire season. Do you know
Yeah,
how many points the Ravens have given up this season so far?
170 something. It's
Yep.
more.
They have given up more points through 5 games than the Ravens defense did throughout 16 games in 2000. The best defense to ever play football, I think. I'd argue, right?
Yeah.
That 2000 Rams
Oh,
defense
yeah.
was phenomenal.
Ravens, yeah,
I
the
wasn't
2000 Ravens
alive,
defense,
but I've
yeah.
watched the highlights because they're so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, they're a dumpster fire.
they are. They're a mess. Rams should win this game. Another fun one: Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys, people are saying are the best offense in the league. They're not, but the Cowboys have a really good offense. Their defense is a mess. It's terrible, but Panthers kind of suck. So
I'm not sold on the Cowboys yet,
me neither.
but the Panthers are terrible.
But the Panthers are also giving us
Yeah.
reasons to believe in them a little bit with
I
their
know,
wins. So
I
it's
know.
rough.
Yep.
I just think the Cowboys have played better teams in better ways. So
Yeah.
we'll move on to the
Probably
next.
fair, yeah.
Cardinals at Colts. We already talked about both these teams in depth. Colts are the best team in the AFC.
Colts
So
are good, man. Colts are really good.
Yeah,
Colts.
Colts all the
Easy.
way, man. Colts all the way.
Yeah.
Seahawks at Jags, another two teams we talked about in depth. This is going to be a really fun, really close game. I think if the Jags or the Seahawks decide to wear their throwbacks again, I'm going to give it to whichever team wears their throwbacks. So my decision is in the air right now. It's a coin toss for me.
I think this is where we see the Seattle Seahawks are the better team.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
Jacksonville will come down.
I don't know,
I'm betting on the Seattle offense in this one.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
I'd have to bet on the defense of the Jaguars if I were. But
Hey, there we go.
Chargers at Dolphins. Man, what could have been a really, really good game. Chargers, I think, just take this game. Even with all their injuries and all their setbacks, I think the Chargers are going to be fine. I mean, 3-2 though, two really tough losses back to back. The Chargers need a win. So
Yeah, the Chargers do need to win, and they're so banged up. And what the last 2 weeks have showed, I don't know. We'll see. Against a team like Miami, who's terrible, it'll really tell a lot. Well, yeah, it'll really tell a lot if Miami comes out and gives them a tough game.
yeah,
Chargers should win, but they're just so beat up, and Herbert's taking so many sacks. I think he's taken 16 sacks this year.
yeah.
Which might be the most in the NFL.
Rashawn
so we'll
Slater.
see.
It was a
Yeah,
tough
so
loss.
And Joe Alt. So
And
yeah,
Joe
so
Alt
we'll see.
now, yeah. Joe
Yeah,
Alt
so
now.
we'll see.
Browns at Steelers. A lot of people are saying this is a Steelers dub. I think the Browns actually have a shot at this one. I do.
So do I.
I do.
Browns defense is really good, and I liked the life I saw in them bringing in the rookie.
Rookie Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, I think it's going to be a
Yeah.
battle of two really good defenses. And
Yeah.
you mentioned it. I mean, Steelers were on a bye last week, but you mentioned it before we started recording. Aaron Rodgers now boasts the lowest passer rating of all quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah,
So-
PFF has him ranked as the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Sorry, PFF has him ranked as the worst quarterback, which is new because I think 2 weeks ago I said that Bo Nix had the worst PFF grading through
Yeah,
couple
there's some
weeks, so-
surprising ones, but Aaron Rodgers being at the bottom was kind of
Aaron Rodgers being the bottom
surprise.
is kind of shocking. Now, I think PFF's grading system is whack and stupid and silly, but, it's something to note. Patriots at Saints. Man, it's two teams off of a really good win, but Patriots, man, they're just good team all around.
Yeah, I think they're solid.
It's coaching, in my opinion. It's just which coach is better, and I think Vrabel has proven that he is a much better coach than Kellen Moore, right?
Well, yeah, Kellen Moore's only 5 weeks into his.
Yeah, exactly.
his
Well,
head
I mean,
coaching
that's exactly what I'm
experience.
saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
So yeah, I think the Patriots are going in the right direction. I just think they're doing really well. I hate to say that they might have a
Nobody does want to
resurgence.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's yeah.
All right, big one. Titans at Raiders. Man, I don't think the Raiders are gonna do what the Cardinals did. And I think the Titans are still just that bad. So this one's pretty easy for me. I think it's the Raiders are taking this
Yeah,
one.
I think they are just that bad. My concerns are what's happening inside the building that we don't get to see a lot
Yeah.
of. So everything I see on the field tells me it's not good in the building. Everything I see from the people who have access to that is just not good inside the building. And so I I'd like to pick the Raiders. I'm gonna have to kind of do a little more research this week and kind of see more what's being said by the people who get access to inside the locker rooms. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
All right. Here should be a good one. Niners at Buccaneers.
Oh,
Yeah. Man, Niners, we wrote them off because of all their injuries, but we
yeah.
talked about both of these teams in depth. I mean, goes back to what you said. Bucks are just a very, very well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
I
they're
have
buttoned up
them.
good.
Yeah, I just
Hmm.
have them.
Yeah, I would say the Rams are a buttoned up team for the most part. I mean,
I
and
know.
McVay, and yet Shanahan was able to go into their house and beat them with a completely depleted team. And I don't even know who's going to come back this week. I don't know how serious the injuries were for Jennings and the wide receivers. I don't know. They might be getting Kittle back this week. They might be getting Purdy back this week. It might not even be the same freaking team.
They shouldn't put Purdy in anymore. If we could take a tangent here if you want, but Purdy should not be the starting quarterback of that team anymore. Mac Jones through both quarterbacks have played 2 games now, right? Been on
Huh?
for each team. Mac Jones has played better football with a worse roster both
I know it's
times.
just terrible timing.
Yeah.
Purdy just got that
Purdy just got
ginormous,
that
he gets
massive
paid over
contract. Yeah.
$50 million a year. And the 49ers have proven that they don't sit on a mistake for a long time, that they will pull the trigger. The Trey Lance thing is the thing that comes to mind when they gave away all those picks for Trey Lance a couple years back.
Yeah.
He, within a year, proved that he was not going to be their starting quarterback, and they basically gave him away for nothing after giving everything
Yeah.
to get him. So, I mean, if any franchise would do it, I would see that. I'm just not sure that Mac Jones
If Mac
against a
Jones
healthy Purdy is actually better, or what exactly. But I'm not
if
sure that they'll do that. We'll see how it goes.
if he plays another good week against the Bucks, he needs to be their starting quarterback. We can talk about it next week because we'll know what
Yeah, we'll talk
happens.
about it more next week
But
because we'll see. Yeah.
if he does, all right, next game, real easy one for me. Bengals at Packers. Packers off a bye, and Bengals are trash. This should be an easy
Yeah.
win for the Packers. But who knows? Bengals
Yeah, I
scored a lot of
agree.
points on the Lions.
Nah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. I watched
Uh,
Jake Browning the last couple weeks. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think so.
Here's my game of the week, and not because I'm a fan, but because I think it's genuinely going to be the best game of the week. Lions at Chiefs. I have the Lions winning this game. I think and I feel the Lions are a significantly better team than the Chiefs this year for sure. The only scare I have is that is a very good organization, and when you lose a game like you lost on Monday night, you usually come back the next week a lot more focused. So,
Yeah, I I had the Lions winning that game too. Where we sit now, I don't think that's going to change. Something very crazy would have to happen for me to even entertain that idea that
yeah.
that would be different. But I think that that is also to me probably the game of the week, really, because you look at what that means for those teams.
Yeah, it's huge.
Are the Lions going to continue to basically own the NFL right now, keep continuing to put up big points, and solidify that at 5-1 after that win they would be 5-1, that they are the class of the NFC, possibly the NFL right now,
Yeah.
and also does that mean that the Chiefs are actually falling off? The Chiefs would then be 2-4 at that point.
Yeah.
And so I think that that game, to me, the reason why that's such a big game is because it's going to tell us a lot, sort of, about those two organizations and where they're at.
Yeah, it is. Next one though. Monday night, first Monday night game. There's 2 this week. That sucks
Doubleheader again.
again.
Okay.
Yep, terrible.
Yeah.
Bills at Falcons. This is a really good game, surprisingly. Falcons get an extra long bye week vacation, and the Bills are coming off of a terrible loss at home. It is their first uh, away game since week 2 when they played the Jets. The Bills have been at home basically the entire season so far. So this is going to be really crazy. Bills' first away game. Falcons come off, what was it, a 30-0 victory and then a bye week. So I think the Falcons, I'm going to say, are going to win this game, which is shocking to me.
The Falcons lost to the Panthers 30-0.
Oh, I'm so
right?
sorry. Yeah, but then the next
I
week they
think that
won
was
30-0.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the next week the
they won.
Falcons won
I don't know if
30-0.
I don't know if it's 30-0, but they definitely lost 30-0.
They did. They lost 30-0
against the Panthers.
and then
They came back and had a win. I don't
sorry,
remember.
they
It was
won
I think it was a
34-27 against the Commanders.
Yeah, there
It's
you go.
just both the first like half of that game, they looked really, really good. It was like, so I apologize. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the Falcons are yet, which is I feel like that's what I say every year. I don't know.
I don't
I don't know who
either.
the Falcons are.
I don't either. And with the exception to their loss to the Panthers, though, with the exception of that loss, they've looked good. They played the Bucs really close, right?
Yeah.
20-23, and their offense looked great. They beat the Vikings 22-6. Looked great in that game. That was the Bijan, game. That was all him against the. Then they looked like shit against the Panthers, but then they came back and against the Commanders, which is a team that we think is a good team. They played phenomenally. So,
So who are they? We'll see.
I don't know. We don't know who they are, but
and the Bills haven't played a particularly tough schedule, and they're 4-1.
Exactly.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
So, and last game of the week, Bears at Washington. Bears and Washington were on a bye? No. Washington played this week.
Washington beat the Chargers.
Yeah, Washington beat the Chargers
27-10. I think.
The Bears had a week off.
Yeah.
But Washington beat the Chargers in a pretty convincing fashion. I forgot about the game. That's how convincingly they beat the Chargers. Completely forgot that they played them. Yeah, I think Washington wins this game.
I think so too. I think they're better. They had a couple losses that I found a little bit head scratching. Yeah, I thought they were better than that. I thought they were going to come off of last season, Washington, that is, and dominate. Just continue what they did carrying over from last year, and they sort of started off slow, but we'll see. And then the Bears at 2-2. I'm not sure who they are. Their last win was against the Raiders 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
a close one. So we'll see.
Yeah. Start of the season losing 2 games, and then proceeded to win 2 games, both against unproven and or bad teams, right? So we'll see. Caleb Williams posted a video of him and the team taking team photos, and they were having a great time. They all seemed happy and loving each other. And Ben Johnson was there too. So maybe the personnel issues that I thought were going to happen, specifically with Ben Johnson, are only when he's talking to people in the media, and it's just that. So we'll see.
Maybe so.
So that's our predictions. Just quick discussions. Now we're going to go straight into our Pick'em Fantasy. Dad, do you want to give them an explanation of what Pick'em Fantasy is while I pull up our last week's results?
Yeah, so we have done this for several years now. It's our form of sort of our gambling, if you will. And we just take the betting lines off of a specific website, same one all year long. We do it early in the week, so things that change throughout the week we don't change those lines. We just take it. We take our pick here when we do the pod, and we keep our picks. We do a straight up, so who's going to win, who's going to lose, and then we do it against the spread, which is who Vegas thinks is going to win the game by how many points, and then we keep score of it.
Yep. All right, let me talk about last week before we get into this week. So last week, I was 8-6 straight up. I was 10-4 against the spread. You were 6-8 straight up, and you were 5-9 against the spread. Rough outing for you. Great week for me. It has brought me back in to the race against you after a really tough last week. I am now 47-31 straight up, and you are 50-28 straight up. I am 37-41 against the spread, and you are 31-47 against the spread. So I have made some distance back against you straight up, and I have created a little bit more of a gap against the spread again. After last week's performance. Let's get into this week, though. Let's get into this week. This week's going to be fun. Fun. All right, so starting
Okay.
off hot. Eagles at Giants. Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. Divisional
Okay.
matchup. I have the Eagles winning this game, but I do have the Giants keeping it close. I have the Giants maintaining their the 7.5-point spread. I have them keeping it close.
Okay. I have the Eagles both ways.
Eagles both ways. You think the Eagles are handling the scandal?
Yep.
Okie dokie. We have Broncos at Jets. Broncos are favored by 7.5 as well. I have the Broncos both ways in this game. The Jets are abysmal.
I have the Broncos winning both. Also,
Both.
yes.
Okay.
I had to think about that. I had to think about that for a second.
My eyes got wide there for a second. That was crazy. All right. Next one. Rams at Ravens. Rams 7.5. I also have the Rams both ways here. The Ravens are a joke.
So that's the first 3 games are all minus 7.5
For the away team,
team?
yes.
The away team?
Yes, my jaw
Holy
dropped.
cow.
I think even before we started recording, I said it too. I was shocked.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, I just
yeah.
had to double check that that's actually what's
That
happening,
is-
and they didn't get stuck in some weird matrix.
No,
Okay.
this is real.
Okay, I have the Rams both. God, I don't know.
Really?
I feel like
If you really want to bet on something with that game, it's bet on whether Puka Nacua is going to have 10 receptions again. I think that's where your betting is.
Yeah, that was the
So
talk
fa-
last week. And
So
and he ended up with it.
far, he's had 10 receptions or more through every game this season. So
Yeah, I
we'll
got
see if
both
he gets
again.
more.
Yeah.
Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites. Oh man, this one's tough for me. This one is tough for me.
Yeah, I know.
Do I want to believe in the Panthers when they've given me nothing to believe in?
Whenever Cowboys both.
You are?
Yeah, which is wild because I'm really taking these favorites. I'm really putting a lot of these favorites.
You are, man. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that the Panthers are gonna win this game.
Are you taking the Panthers to win? Okay.
I am taking the Panthers to win. Here is my reasoning, real quick, as I update it because I keep messing it up. Bryce Young had a 300-yard, 3-touchdown game last week against the Cardinals, and I think the Cowboys' defense sucks. So, dude, if Bryce Young gets that gun slinging again, the Cowboys are going to be in a rough spot. All right, next one. Cardinals at Colts. Colts are 6.5-point favorites. I got the Colts both ways, man. Cardinals keep shooting themselves in the foot.
That's wild that the Colts are only 6.5-point favorites.
Only 6.5-point favorites? That's funny.
Well, you got other teams that are favored by 7.5 on the road, and you got the Colts only favored by 6.5.
Yeah, but look at the teams they're playing, dude. The Cardinals are not the Giants, they're not the Jets, and they're not the Ravens. They still are playing good ball. Last week the Cardinals lost that football game. They did.
To Tennessee. They gave it away.
Yeah, I agree. They suck, but I mean, the plays that the ways that they lost are not because they played bad football. It was two guys
Colts
making
both.
two really okay. So you just agree with me.
Colts both.
All right, next one. Seahawks and Jags. Jags are 1.5-point favorites. This really is a coin toss. Now, again, I said whichever team wears their throwback uniforms win this game because I do believe it. I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks, though, to win this game.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I like the Jags. I think the Jags could win this game, but I have faith in Sam Darnold. Chargers at Dolphins. Chargers are 4.5-point favorites. If there's another team that has given up playing football, it is the Dolphins. I am picking the Chargers to win this game.
And to cover?
And to cover, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's easy. I've said the Dolphins for weeks have been the worst team in the NFL because of what's happening from their head coach and their sidelines. So
Yeah. Perfect. We agree there. We're agreeing a lot this week. Browns at Steelers. Steelers are 5-point favorites. We kind of discussed it a little bit earlier, but I do think the Browns have a chance to win this football game.
Yeah, I think so too, but I'm going to go Steelers.
I'm going to go Browns here. I am going to go
I'm going
Browns
to
here.
go Steelers both.
Okay, I'm going Browns both here. I think this bye week is going to affect the Steelers' defense negatively, and I think their bye week and their week off, they're going to be sluggish. That's what I think.
Okay.
Patriots at Saints. Patriots are 3.5-point favorites. Saints looked like a football team last week, but Patriots, man, they're on that upswing. So I'm going Patriots both ways.
I'm going Saints.
Saints both ways? Oh, you have to, right?
Yep. I'm going Saints, dude.
Wowee. All righty. Titans at Raiders. Raiders are 4.5-point favorites. I'm picking the Raiders here. I think you are too, right?
Yeah.
Not to speak for you, but I mean, come on now. Like, come on now. You know?
Yep, I still am.
49ers at Buccaneers. Bucks are a 3-point favorite. I have the Bucks both ways.
Yeah, shit.
Oh man, he's having a rough time here.
The Bucks they've just barely eked everything out.
But
it's 3 or 3.5.
3. Yep. It is 3.
I'm gonna take the 49ers.
Both. Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bengals at Packers. Packers are 14.5-point favorites. Man, I'm gonna pick the Packers to win, but the Bengals to cover. I would be with how Jordan Love has been playing, which is good, but also I don't want to say that the Bengals. Plus, the Bengals defense played pretty decent last week, so I'm gonna have to give it to the Bengals to cover. It's got to be Packers Bengals to cover.
I'll take Green Bay both.
Oh my god.
That's my crazy pick of the week.
That's your crazy pick? Okay.
14.5. What did the Lions beat them by? 13?
Beat them by 13.
Yeah, that's wild.
If Jake Browning doesn't turn the ball over 3 times, which he probably will, but
I might have to have a serious talk in the mirror with myself on Sunday.
Yeah. Some of these picks, man, are suspect. Some of these picks are suspect.
I know. It's early in the week. Sometimes these things happen.
All right, you want to see something crazy?
Huh.
Lions at Chiefs, and I'm gonna check this again because I need to make sure that this is true. After I wrote this down, Lions at Chiefs. It says the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites over the Lions. Yes, you heard that right. 2.5-point favorites. I'm checking this again. Yes, they are still 2.5 points.
I got the Lions. This is just ludicrous to me.
The Lions are written off every week. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Every week, doesn't matter what happens.
Well, I don't even care. This love affair with the Chiefs is crazy to me.
Well, no, I mean, I'm a Lions fan, so I pay attention more to what the Lions have happened. But the Lions are written off every week. There's not respect given to them. And I would argue that this week, most of the talk about the Lions is not going to be about how they're a really good football team, and rather how they let the Bengals score 24 points on them. So, it's fine by me. Let them be the underdog. I would love for my 4-1 team to be an underdog to you in every game they go into. Let's move on. Bills at Falcons. Bills are 3.5-point favorites. I have the Falcons both ways here. I think the Bills are going to be exposed this week.
I got the Bills both.
Okay. I would hope that the Bills prove me wrong because I'm a big Josh Allen supporter, but I am not just for fantasy reasons. I've picked Josh Allen as my quarterback every week. I said it weeks ago. Every week in fantasy since he was a rookie. I love the guy. I like how he plays, even when he throws 3 interceptions a game, which he hasn't done anymore, but he might do it again. We'll see. Bears at the WTFs, the Washington football team. Washington is favored by 4.5. I have the Bears to cover, but Washington to win. I think this is going to be a close game.
You said Washington was how much favor?
4.5. I think the Bears are going to lose by a field goal. I think it's going to end exactly how it did last year against the Lions for them, which is the Lions were up by a field goal. The Bears drove down the field, and then Caleb Williams messed up the 2-minute drill. I think that's how it's going to end exactly.
I'll take Washington both.
Okay.
I got everything. I didn't take one.
You didn't take a flip flop. You picked a team
Nope.
and stuck with them. Yeah, the entire way.
I took all the favorites.
You didn't take all the favorites. I won't say that.
No, I know. I took the favorites all to cover, and then the underdogs 1, 2, 3 times.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
I mean,
cool.
there it is. Take a look. All right. Okay. Well, hey, thank you again for watching the show.
Absolutely.
Made it this far. We appreciate the support. Nothing much. We'll see you next week. I mean, that's it. I'm Michael Vitt, and
I'm Mike Vitt.
And finish it off, Dad. Do the outro, and we've been...
And we've been 2 Vitts talking shit.
Yeah!